Welcome to third video of Phrasal verb series. Have a good listening.
The long flight to new horizons. The idea of flying to another continent had been in my head for months, but it wasn't until last week that I finally decided to go for it. The moment I confirmed my ticket online, I felt both excitement and nervousness. There was so much to prepare before the journey. The day before my flight, I began to sort out my luggage. Clothes, documents, gifts, and even snacks had to be carefully arranged. I didn't want to leave out anything important, so I checked my packing list 3 times. My sister came into my room and decided to bring up the fact that I often forgot my phone charger when traveling. "Don't worry," I said. "I'll take care of it this time." On the morning of the flight, my alarm didn't turn up the volume, and I woke up 30 minutes later than planned. I had to rush. I quickly dressed, not bothering to dress up, since comfort was more important than style for such a long trip. My taxi driver showed up right on time, and I managed to get in with my suitcase just as the rain began to fall. As we drove, heavy traffic nearly cut off our progress several times, but the driver was skilled at finding alternative routes. At the airport entrance, I got out of the taxi and immediately felt the atmosphere of anticipation all around me. People were hugging, saying goodbye, or rolling their suitcases toward the glass doors. Inside, I spotted a digital board and looked at my flight number. I still had 2 hours before boarding, but I didn't want to waste time. I went straight to the check-in counter, where the airline staff pointed out that my bag was slightly overweight. They suggested I take out some items or pay an extra fee. I decided to leave out the books I had packed for the trip, placing them in my carry-on bag instead. Problem solved. While waiting in the security line, I unexpectedly ran into an old university friend, Daniel. We hadn't spoken in years, so we used the time to catch up on each other's lives. He told me about his job abroad, and I told him about my plans for the next year. Our conversation was so engaging that I didn't notice when the security officer asked me to speak up and confirm my name. After passing through the scanner, Daniel and I walked together to the departure lounge. We found 2 empty seats and sat down. Daniel decided to bring up a memory from our student days when we missed a class trip because we had overslept. We laughed, but then the boarding announcement for his flight came. He had to set off earlier than me, so we hugged and promised to keep on texting during our journeys. With still some time before boarding, I decided to log on to the airport Wi-Fi and check my emails. A message from my boss appeared, reminding me about a small task I had forgotten to do. I thought about whether I should put off the reply until after landing, but I decided to handle it immediately so I could relax. After sending the email, I wandered to a bookstore and decided to try on a travel pillow. It was comfortable, so I bought it. Finally, the boarding gate opened. People showed up in long lines, holding passports and boarding passes. When it was my turn, the staff smiled and said, "Enjoy your flight." I walked down the jet bridge and got in the plane. My seat was near the window, which I had chosen intentionally. A tall man sat next to me and immediately began to show off his photography equipment, explaining that he was a travel blogger. He spoke quickly, and at times I had to speak up to be heard over the sound of boarding announcements. As the plane set off, the engines roared. The flight attendants demonstrated safety procedures, and the man next to me pointed out some cloud formations outside the window. 2 hours into the flight, turbulence began. The seatbelt sign flashed, and we were told to stay seated. The turbulence grew stronger, causing a few passengers to fall down in the aisle as they tried to return to their seats. The flight attendants quickly helped them get out of the way and take care of any minor injuries. During the turbulence, the man next to me started to look pale. Suddenly, he had to grab a paper bag and throw up. I offered him water from my bag, and he thanked me. After things calmed down, I decided to keep on watching a movie I had started earlier. However, halfway through, the in-flight entertainment system broke up the connection, and my movie stopped. I had to log on again and look up another title. Midway through the flight, a passenger in the back decided to speak up and complain about the cold temperature. The flight attendants had to turn down the air conditioning slightly. I used this break to think over my travel plans after landing. Would I go back to the hotel directly or explore the city first? The last few hours were calmer. Meals were served, and I managed to work out a plan for my first day abroad. The travel blogger next to me continued to show off his photos, and I couldn't deny that some of them were truly impressive. When we finally landed, I got out of my seat, collected my bag from the overhead bin, and walked toward passport control. The officer there pointed out that my visa was expiring in 6 months, reminding me to renew it. After collecting my luggage, I ran into another friend, completely by surprise, who happened to be on the same flight. We decided to share a taxi to the city and catch up on everything we'd missed over the years. As the taxi set off toward the city, I felt a wave of satisfaction. I had managed to navigate the entire journey without major problems, despite a few tense moments. I promised myself to keep on traveling whenever possible and never give in to fear or hesitation again. This trip had been more than just a flight. It was a reminder that adventures often begin the moment you decide to show up.
The end. Thanks for listening. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel.